So anyway, so that's kind of a quick generalized version. If I missed some stuff, anybody have any questions so far? I'm sure you do. Yes?
The congressional reporters taken from the same pool as federal court reporters, or is that a different arm of the industry?
It's they are employed by the federal government. They have the same benefits plan that I do, TSP, retirement, but they are, I'm trying to think, there's a clerk for the House of Representatives up there, and so they're hired through there, but they're federal reporters, but it's different. They make more money than we do, but they don't get transcripts because they do like daily copy on the congressional record every day. Yes. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
How difficult is it to get a position in federal employment?
I think it's difficult. I applied for several of them. I had several interviews and at different places. That's what I always wanted to do. I interviewed in Indianapolis, Tampa, Orlando. I think and then sent it other places too where I never even got an interview or heard back. So I applied quite a few times for I got a position. So there's a lot less of them than in state court. So it can be difficult, but it sometimes not. So because a lot of the reporters here, so I moved from out of town here for my position. I was willing to do that, but most of the reporters I work with are either from San Antonio area or Laredo. So, yes.
Approximately, if you could give me, I know it depending on your docket, but approximately how many hours a week outside of the standard 8 to 5 do you spend working on transcript production? So like, you're done with your day, do you go home and work on your transcripts? Because you said you have 30 days.
Well, it depends on how busy I am, but in the last year, I have not had to work outside of my 8 to 5 time slot very often, which is the beauty. I would tell you that Bexar County is a rarity in this country. The fact that they have a better salary than we do, but they work hard over there, very hard. And so, I've been doing this a long time, and maybe I do make a lot of money in transcripts. We have daily copy, but we do it a different way. I'm the oddball out where I work because I'm on Case Catalyst, and everybody else is on Clips. But when we do daily copy, we do PDFs, and we go in legs. We go in for hour and a half, maybe longer. As the day gets closer to the end, we take shorter segments, and then we put all the transcript together. And sometimes we have a long day when we do that redistricting case, when they're trying to redistrict how they do Texas. We go to 7 o'clock at night. We have several attorneys in there. It's a madhouse. But we do that so we can leave between 7, on a bad night, 10 o'clock. But let's say 7, 8 o'clock at night, because we're going to get up and do it again, maybe for 30 days. And yeah, we make less money, and sometimes you can use a Scopus, but it's worked out well for us because we all do pretty well on it, and we get to go home every night. So that would be one thing. Now, when I first moved here, I had lots of daily copy the first year, and this last year we've had one. So not very. I don't have to. It was hard to get used to at first. I take a lot of because I'm not as busy with transcripts. Now I'm getting done with this 8-week trial, and if our defendant's found guilty, I will probably start typing it. I will check with I'm sure I'm going to check with the defense attorney and say, hey, are you going to appeal this case? Because what'll happen is I have 30 days from the day after he's sentenced, but it'll take about 30 to 90 days for them to do that pre-sentence investigation and get that before he's sentenced. I'm typing. So I'm telling you we have 30 days, but it's, if I do poor time management and don't get started on that when I know he's going to be sentenced and he was found guilty, I should be working on that already. So I can have a little bit more time, so I'd be doing that. But I love my job because I get to usually leave. Sometimes I work a little late, but that's usually my volunteer stuff that has me busy, outside of it and stuff. But I do not. And on the weekends, I don't have to work too much. Just saying.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
So are you have your RPR and your RMR?
I have my RPR. Mm-hmm. Yep.
And,
I should have my RMR. I think they talk 300 words a minute all the time, every day, all day long, but I haven't taken it, so.
do you keep reference books, or do you just use the internet to look?
A little of both. We have, what is that called? Brief Encounters. We have a book that came out that somebody gave it to me. I do use the internet a lot because the Google is a wonderful thing, because my judge will come up with these old sayings and you're thinking, my dictionary, it's a work in progress, let me tell you, all the time. And you want a lot of briefs, you know, the pre-sentence investigation and report, I mean, they can roll through those sentencings like nobody's business. So you really want a lot of briefs for that. But you have to kind of go in, learn the lingo, because the way my judge does it is going to be a little bit different than the next judge does it. So, but you want certain things that, you know, that you do have briefs for. So I do have a book, but I do use the internet a lot. I do. Mm-hmm. Yes.
You said you had another individual that manages your exhibits. So
Mhm.
do you just put in the parenthetical and insert it, or do they go ahead and put your parenthetical in for you?
When I get done, I do an index page going identified, offered, and received. And I don't ever touch them. I don't ever have to do anything, but it's kind of funny because they'll come from a deposition setting and they all want to come up to me going, hello, here, and I'm always like, I'm writing, you know, you need to, you know, take it to her, and she's always like trying to grab it. So in state court, that might very well could be my job, and it just depends on where you're at. So I don't have them, but the wonderful thing that they do in federal court is they usually have a book of exhibits for the witness, and they have a book of exhibits technically for the judge, but it goes to his law clerk because he's going to be clerking and helping him through the case. And then I go get the book of exhibits from the law clerk. I have that one. I have one this big right now from this other, and we have a lot of Dahlberg hearings, which are expert hearings. That's another pretrial thing where somebody says, oh, he's an expert, I want them to talk about something, and then they don't agree, and so they come in and we have to listen to all his expert testimony, and so I have a lot of exhibit. That's just one thing I did. So I went to the law clerk and said, I need that exhibit book because the spellings are in there and stuff, and that's not necessarily going to be in the CMECF filing system. And it's nice to have the hard copy just to, when they say tab 5, tab 6, I can flip right to it. So I don't put any parenthetical because they know I never had them. But it's just kind of helpful when they go back going, well, when did they talk about that exhibit? So it's good to have, and I use auto indexing. That's like one of the best inventions ever. When you get through your software, you want to use that because that can just save you so much time. And then if you go back and your title page, you know, you have 15 attorneys, and so now it's 3 pages long, and you totally forgot about that way before because you went and created it at the end. Because sometimes I do that at the end because I'm trying to know who all the attorneys are and all that. And you think, oh my goodness, now I got to change all my pages. And you don't have to do that. It's a wonderful thing. So make sure you get a form for that. Yes.
And then how long do you have to keep your records? Andy said 3 years for hers. How long do you keep?
Yeah, I think I'm supposed to know that, like forever. I should know that, and I should get back to you on that, because I haven't been there long enough that I wouldn't be even considering that at this point. Because I thought Chris told us it was like 5 years, but I'll find out for you. With the idea with it's all with media, it doesn't hurt me to keep it because I don't have it in a written form. So if they want to come back and order the transcript someday, I mean, 98% of the time I'm probably very happy to do it for them, depending on what it was. But for the most part, I can get back to you on that. But I think for most part, usually criminal stuff is you need to keep it for I think it might be 15 years, but don't quote me on that. I'll get back to David on it for sure.
That's
More
fine.
than 3.
Mhm. Anything else? Yes.
What do you personally do to stay healthy and in tip-top shape, hands, back, all that stuff?
Well, for the most part, I usually try to get a massage once a month, just because, oh my gosh, you're just over that computer all day long. And then another thing you should do is when you go through a door well, go like this, like that, through a door well. Can I see myself? Like that. They always say because you want to stretch back because you get so tight. And you know, that's a very good question. For me, I find what is more exhausting, the machine doesn't really usually bother me. I have it in a good position. It's the typing that when you go back to do your editing. So the bigger your dictionary is, the cleaner you write, and you watch it, and when you're doing your real time and watching it and holding yourself, I like to watch it because it makes me more accountable, like I'm writing clean. So that makes your editing a little bit better. And you want to make sure you have shortcuts while you're editing that aren't like, for a while, I can't even tell you what it was. I had this keystroke that was starting to give me like a zing down my arm because you were doing it so much. I'm like, okay, no, I'm gonna have to change that to some other kind of macro because you need to move it around. So do that. And it's just, you know, good to have a healthy lifestyle. You know, you should, I don't do it enough, get out at lunchtime, go get fresh air, walk, all those things. I've been pretty fortunate, but you also, when you do this job, you should just get get some kind of disability insurance because you don't know what can happen. Like I can fall off of my horse and I'd be in big trouble. You know, if okay, just a little bit slower, I only have one arm right now, it's not gonna quite cut it type of thing. So, and you only have so much sick time. Like for me, I have sick time, but it's good to have that, you know, life happens and things can happen. So it's, that's a very important thing, whether you're freelancing. Even if you are freelancing, I would tell you to do that because you work a lot. Because if you're not on the machine, you're not making any money. That's what they always say. You want to be writing on your machine. So, yes.
Do you guys get a retirement? How many years do you have to work in the federal system to be, I guess, like fully?
5 years. And it's 5 years. Every year you earn. So if you've heard from Bear County, I'm sure it's not going to sound as good, but I'll just tell you we get 1.1 for every year we're there. So if I were there like 23 years, it would, by the time I had 1.1, it'd be up to like 25-ish, right? Do the math, okay. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
So you'd have it. Then I make 25% of the last 3 years of my highest income. So, and like locally, if you have your certifications, you're gonna top out at about 89,000 on your salary. So you'd be getting 20, if you were there, so if I'm there 25 years, that's what it would be. So unless you start pretty young, one of my coworkers was very fortunate to get into federal court pretty young. So he might have, 30, 35 years maybe by the time he retires, if he does, type of thing. So it's, some people do, if they start in and they get in the clerk's office and then one of them is going to court reporting school on her own. So she'll have all her years of being a clerk too, to be putting into that same system. And they'll match up to 5%. And you can put more in our TSP retirement. So that's the retirement. Yes.
I don't want to make this like a gender equality in the workplace kind of thing, but I've noticed that for us, the students, we don't have a lot of male students. Seems to be a pretty female-dominated, career, but we were told, well, from what I was told, it used to be a male-dominated profession. So how many? I'm just curious because I think David's the only male court reporter that I know that actually works downtown. I don't know if there's any other.
There's 3 more.
Oh, there's 3 more?
Yeah.
I'm just curious as to what's the.
Well, ironically, there's 5 of us and 3 of them are men.
Really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah, so I mean, and they're required, we're a little, some people think we're really formalized. We kind of are, but we're supposed to wear like closed-toed shoes, but you can't wear flip-flops. You can't have something that doesn't have a back on it. And if you have peep-toe shoes, you can only have 2 toes come out. You're actually supposed to wear hose in court if you really read the book and follow it. But I worked for the judge that relocated from Hawaii, and he wears Hawaiian shirts on Friday. So I don't wear those to court. And so then we're supposed to wear jackets in court, like a jacket like an attorney would wear. And It's so cold in there, I usually have that on and a sweater while I'm freezing. Anyway, yeah, what were you asking me?
I was just asking about the.
Oh yeah, the guys. Yeah, so they have to, that's why I went to that. They have to have a coat and tie. They had somebody come and fill in one time and the guy just had a shirt on. They're like, hold on. They have their backup coats, you know, just in case, because sometimes if they don't have court, they might wear a polo in, like a collared shirt polo if they don't have court. We can kind of dress it down a little bit if we don't have court. And then if they end up having to go to court, they have like their backup stuff with their tie and shirt or, you know, and a coat to go into court. It's a little bit stricter for them than us. And, you know, for the most part in our courtroom, if it gets a little out of control or people are talking over each other, my judge likes to handle that. So, yeah.
You seem like a redundant question because I think you're wearing pants behind the desk, but.
Yes.
You're allowed to, because I was told by someone that in federal court, the female reporters had to wear a skirt.
No.
Only skirt, so that if you wore pants, they would send you back home and you'd have to go get a skirt.
I want to know who's saying that
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I wear pants like probably 90% of the time. Yeah, pantsuits.
I
Mm-hmm.
want to wear pants, yeah.
Yeah, you can wear pants. In the Western District of Texas, you can wear pants. I mean, the clerk of court was wearing pants the other day when I was at the, you know, at some kind of social function. So, you know, yeah, we can wear pants and stuff. It's not, yeah, I know. It's not as probably liberal as other places maybe. I mean, I wouldn't want to come in wearing a cheetah print probably and cheetah shoes. Probably not going to go. It's kind of a more of a solemn, you don't want to draw attention to yourself. Now, I mean, yesterday I didn't have court and I had a red sweater on. So it was red. Yeah. Yes?
One of the exercises that we had in the book said that the judge required his court reporter to wear a black suit
Oh.
every day.
Really?
And I wanted to know, in the real world, is that likely to happen?
Not anywhere that I know. Just a friend of mine is a federal reporter up in Kansas City, Kansas, and on their casual Fridays, she might be wearing like jean Friday. They do that occasionally in the clerk's office and stuff, or like when the Spurs are gonna win, they'll have they let them do kind of those things. And sometimes she'll say, "I'm sorry, I'm dressed casually. Is that okay?" If she has to go spur of the moment fill in for somebody. So it kind of depends on the judge. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes the judge you work for, if he's a little older school, I suppose he could tell you that. He's we work at the pleasure of the court. So mine doesn't do that. So, but black's a great color. We wear a lot of black. So, anyway, any other questions? I hope I answered everything.
All right. Well, thank you, Kristen, for coming. And
I'll get back to you on that note
yeah,
thing.
yeah, I'll keep in touch with her and just kind of get the information that we needed from tonight. What was that? What was it? Oh, how
About
long to keep your
the
notes or whatever. So yeah, I'll get back with you guys on that too.
And if you guys have any other questions,
All right. Do you have any questions about the speakers tonight from me? Not that I can answer, we should ask them, but I mean, any questions about some of the stuff that they covered tonight? No? Yeah.
When the reporters are here from like Bear County and from the freelance organizations, they're inviting us within reason to come and like shadow them.
Yeah.
Is shadowing you a possibility in the federal court?
contact me and let me look. And I need to get permission from my judge. So,
But it's not a no, it's
No, I'm
not a
not
flat
saying-
no.
no, uh-uh.
But I imagine because it's federal government, you have to go through more hoops.
a little bit, because when you come through security there, they're gonna ask you everything.
Are you in the Alamo, the post office building, the Alamo?
No, we're down in the old World Fair building.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah. So, when you come in, the CSOs want to see your driver's license and all that, and tell you if they wanted or while you're there. And, basically, I wanted to do that maybe recently with Sarah Murphy who got through, but then they were trying to train this courtroom deputy, this new courtroom deputy, so it was courtroom deputy, me, there's me, and then there's 2 courtroom deputies, and it was kind of crazy. But, I don't know why, I don't know if I should offer this, I don't know why you couldn't say, hey, it's a public place, I'm here to observe, you can bring your machine, they may not want you doing that in the back of the courtroom,
Yeah.
but, you know, that type of thing.
Yeah, that's why I'm thinking, you know, it'd be better to find out up front what you're allowed to do and what you're not allowed to do before you go there and they tell you no.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
I-
and you know, it's always good, just even with a shadow experience, that's how I knew I didn't want to go into medical records when I was at that crossroads of court reporting. It was, I went and shadowed it for a day, and it was like I didn't want to do that. I mean, obviously you know you want to do this, but if you want to, like, maybe you know you don't want to be in federal court, but you come in and listen to some of the hearings that we do and the type of cases we do. They're public things, so you can come in and see how the court is run and stuff, yeah.
But getting the experience from your vantage point as a court reporter,
I have to check on that.
Yeah.
Like when you want to come in and basically unlike David, where he's gonna be busy and have a docket all the time, we'd want to make sure, keep in touch that something didn't go off of the docket. Like if we had an hour and a half hearing scheduled and then they moved it or they canceled it, they don't need it anymore, they're gonna settle the case. That can happen for us, and I wouldn't want you to take off work or take time out of your schedule and then it end up going off, because we have things go off frequently. So, yeah, but no, definitely, if you get in touch with me, I'll definitely look into it further.
Okay.
Or to see about that. If not with me, maybe another judge
Yeah.
would be willing to do that,
Yeah.
because there's, all of them are different and do their own thing.
And all of those guys down there are really cool and, you know, whatever. So, I mean, if you know, they're able to do it, they'll do it for you.
Mhm.
And it would be a way different experience. You know, some of you guys have come and sat in my court, it's gonna be way different than that. So it would actually be something pretty cool to go check out.
It's pretty, it's probably a lot more control.
Oh, yeah.
The judge has a lot of control,
Yeah.
so, yeah, they really do.
Any other questions? Okay, guys.
All right.
I haven't decided yet, and I need to talk to the other reporter, and if she's gonna come next week, next Wednesday, we're going to have,
Thank you.
whether she's gonna come next week, and it's a criminal official reporter, okay? And she said that she would, but I didn't know if she's gonna come next week, or if she's going to come the week of Thanksgiving, that Monday of Thanksgiving, which I